In the latest hours of August 21st, 1955, near the communities of Kelly and Hopkinsville, Kentucky, a light streaks across the sky and lands somewhere in the woods on the Sutton property. Having seen the bright light, all 12 occupants of the Sutton farmhouse piled out onto the porch, only to come face to face with something that would frighten them all beyond anything they would ever see. In front of them were several creatures that were coming towards the farmhouse. The creatures were described as being between 2 and 4 feet tall, with pointed ears. Their arms and legs were described as thin and spindly, ending with claw-like hands and feet. The color of these creatures was described as a dark green, possibly wearing a silvery iridescent type of clothing. The creatures were further described as having bright yellow eyes, also described as glowing. The occupants of the farmhouse ran back inside and locked the door. 2 of the tenants, Elmer and John Charlie Sutton, grabbed their nearby weapons and trained them towards the door. It was at this point that the 12 scared occupants saw the yellow eyes of several creatures peering through the windows and other creatures looking through the glass of the farmhouse door. Elmer and John Charlie unleashed a hail of gunfire at the creatures, now numbering between 12 and 15. The gunfire went on into the early hours of August 22nd, stopping only when there was silence outside. The Suttons had held off an attack of their farmhouse for over 4 hours. The 2 Sutton boys mustered up the courage to venture outside. They were met with a quiet, calm early morning. There were no traces of any creatures dead or alive. The 12 witnesses, Elmer and John Charlie Sutton, their respective wives Vera and Aline, their mother, Glennie Lankenford, and her 3 younger children, Aline's brother, O.P. Baker, and Billy Ray Taylor, and his wife June, all piled into 2 vehicles and rushed to the Hopkinsville police station. The police, not believing the story of bizarre creatures, chose to still investigate because they thought it may have been a gunfight between neighboring property owners. In total, 4 Hopkinsville police officers, 5 Kentucky state troopers, 3 deputy sheriffs, and 4 military police officers from the nearby Fort Campbell military base all showed up to investigate. The officers found clear evidence of gunfire from inside the farmhouse, including bullet holes through the windows and doors, and bullet casings strewn all over. What they didn't find was any sign of any creatures. The police concluded their investigation and went on their way, only to return to the property the following day and be told by the neighbors that the Suttons had packed up and left early that morning after the creatures returned at around 3:30 a.m. What did these 12 people see? Was it several horned owls? Could it have been a prank? Was it actually some sort of alien encounter? Let us know what you think. And as always, stay curious.